Good afternoon again, directors. So there's always a spate of interesting things we encounter throughout our months here at CCW and the operations department. This is one I want to highlight. Let's see.
Tim, a quick question, back to the fire on Kiva and Copperopolis.
Yeah,
Is that close to us?
it was just a couple houses down. It was actually, let me try this again. Here we go. Where's our route? Okay, so it was like right behind, oh, that's the little red one back. Oh, there we go. It was, yeah, okay, it's pressure. Okay, awesome. It was like right by our facilities. Cigarette to flicked off of the back deck. Burned the deck down, saved the house. But yeah, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, treatment operator at the plant. It's like, oh, by the way, there's this. You get a photo of the fire.
How about the propane tank?
Blew the propane tank up. Yes. Why the smoke was just black when it kicked off. So this is Lake Tulloch. Our intake structure is right here. And so we're going to feed the Copper Cove water treatment facility kind of off the screen here. And up here last month, Division DWR investigated a harmful algal bloom. So there was a plume of harmful cyanotoxin algae floating in the water near the Kiva swim recreation area, and a dog was reported to have gotten sick. And so I just wanted to highlight this because you may hear about it. Tridam is working with local county environmental health and DWR to assess how many of these algal blooms might exist on the lake. But one of the items that we have been trying to educate folks about is that the drinking water intake here is about 3,300 feet away from that reported algal bloom. And that in general, the supply feeding the water treatment facility, we don't have any indication of a plume of algae. So just to be cautious, we have taken samples at the CCWD intake, and we have also taken samples of the treated effluent to understand if we are filtering cyanotoxins. Incidentally, just so you know, there are no regulatory constraints. There are no regulations centered around what is in the raw water supply, because the understanding is the treatment process disinfects the water. There's bacteria, there's virus, and there's potentially algae in the raw water supply that the plant is designed to treat. So there are no regulations centered around the raw water. However, everybody is working to understand what the level of HABs might be at the intake. There's no visual indication. I can tell you when harmful algal blooms exist, you can see them. They'll be bright green. They kind of stand out in the water, and we're not seeing that throughout the lake. But just wanted to highlight that for y'all. And I know Tridam is working with DWR to allay any concerns associated with recreation. So diving into Rancho, just want to continue to highlight that when our distribution crews find a service line that has multiple repair clamps on it, and they have the time that day, they will fully replace the service line. And so these images are illustrating that over on Crotty and Rancho. And then this is a really interesting one. So I'm going to try to use the clicker here again. So if you can see this white pipe here in the ground, there's a pipe here. There's a 6-inch pipe in the ground. There's an 8-inch pipe in the ground. And there's also this, what we like to call a surprise pipe. So this is in West Point. We have a raw water line within about a foot from a treated water line cross country. The raw water line is conveying water to the treatment plant, and then the treated water line is passing it, 2 ships passing the night, conveying water to Wilseyville, and they're essentially in the same trench. And so we had a report of water in basically somebody's backyard, in their back property of a water lake. And so our guys mobilized to repair either an 8-inch or 6-inch main. It's either the raw line or the treated line. And we've done this in the past, and it's quite a job. So they excavate the area, and what they find is this surprise line, which is about 1.25 inches, is the culprit. It's leaking. You can see it spraying out right here. It's poly. And so because we don't have anything of this size, we kind of had to manufacture a repair clamp. And what this turns into now is an investigation. So we're trying to understand, this is treated water. We did confirm that, where it is going, and are we accounting for that treated water? So I just want to highlight some of the things that our guys encounter. It's
What?
magic water. We know it's magic.
Why would it be 1.25 inches? That's a tiny line.
Ours?
We don't know. And so, it's in the forest. So these lines, this treated 8-inch and this, treated 6-inch and the raw 8-inch are passing each other essentially in the forest, somebody's property. And we find a leak and we find it on this little line. And so our guys now are tracing the line to understand if we are metering this water or if it was
When was this discovered?
magically constructed.
When was it discovered?
Just last, I want to say 2 weeks ago.
And we're still
Yeah,
following?
yeah. Well, so our crews amongst their other work tasks are like, okay, let me go out and I'm going to
Gotcha.
dig here. I'm going to try to locate here. I'm going to listen here. So we're trying to trace this line and it could go hundreds of feet. And optimistically speaking, we get to the end of it and we find a meter. And if that's the case, okay, great. And then what happens then is our team will talk to customer service. Hey, can you tell me what size this is? What are these folks paying? So we can understand what the cost is associated with the magic line.
Have we ever had illegal taps in any of our systems?
Absolutely. Yes. And when we find them, we cap them, and we do find them and we discuss them. We have recently reestablished a customer service / ops engineering kind of oddball discussion about unusual things that we're experiencing and things that we're trying to investigate and understand. These kinds of things come up. Could be a customer related issue. This customer says this, staff say that. There's a whole host of things that can happen, but short answer is yes, absolutely. In the past, I think this is before Michael and my time, found a tank that was tapped. So there's usually like a 1-inch connection on a tank or like a 3/4 for a hose bib or a sample tap. And somebody had rigged up they tapped it and camouflaged it and buried it. And our guys found it like the next week, but it was like, hey, what are you guys doing here?
It's hard to tell from the picture, Damon. Is that fairly deep? Is it same depth as our?
It looks like it's about a foot above, maybe 1.5 feet above the white pipe. You can see the white.
Yeah.
Tough dirt to dig.
Yeah, I know. It's like playing the guitar or something. Like the white pipe to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a couple feet, I would say, or 1.5 feet maybe. But that's to my
Do you have
mind.
any punitive measures?
So
The civil lawsuit?
we have talked about that. We can.
Yeah. I mean, there is water code.
Right.
It is a crime. Right.
Yeah.
So depending on the circumstances, had situations with the sheriff's department about it. But hopefully that's not what this is.
It is treated?
Treated. Yeah. Yeah.
Cable in the first department.
Yeah. So jumping up to Arnold.
Right.
So this is kind of hard to see in this image, but kind of what the previous discussion kind of touched upon was the service line connected to the main. A lot of the services, Arnold, Rancho, Poker Flat, have this threaded tap directly into the coupling of the water main. So this is the coupling. And these will wear out over time, either the threads in this, what we call a corporation stop, or in this case, it looks like the actual service line sprung a leak. You can see that this stop has no valve. So what we do when we fix this, we either have to reestablish some threads, fix some threads, but we replace this with with a new corporation stop that has an isolation valve. So in the future, sometimes if you're struggling to understand how to fix something, you can blow down on the main at the corp stop and shut the corp off. So that's what our folks did in this repair. This one I wanted to share because it illustrates like that we have these these crimpers. And so we have a line, a service line in this blue that was broken, and we were able to crimp the district side off here and then cut these clean and make them flush and then put in a new section of poly here. This is what we have called in the past the hot box at the Big Trees Shopping Center up in Arnold, and this protects a fire check for the property there, the shopping center, and that fire check broke in the middle of the night during this past month. You can kind of see what the building looked like on the inside here, and this fire check here has a 1-inch port on the side, and the threads of that 1-inch port broke and cracked the whole apparatus. This whole thing, this one right here, had to be replaced. And so our staff, you can see that the threads here, our staff ordered the new RP, it's called a reduced pressure principal backflow prevention device. Ordered that, and we worked in the middle of the night when the shopping center was closed to pull the old one. As you can see, the mechanics pulled it with a crane. It's quite heavy. And installed the new one. And here's the new one in the box. And here are the folks installing it. And you can see our certified cross-connection specialist here overseeing the work, making sure everything's done to standard and specification. And then we test that device because it has to be tested before it can be turned back on.
But that elevation, as they're inside the building, they don't have to be, the pipes aren't wrapped.
That's right. That's why we have the building, because this is all above ground, and the previous building was damaged. I believe it was from snow. Yeah. And so for, I don't know, 5 years, at least 5 years, it had this, you had this stainless steel structure with this big, like, crash side of the roof. And so we had this in the budget last year to replace the building. And we had finished replacing the building the day before the RP gave up the ghost. And so I know the building was well constructed because when folks could hear the water gushing out of it and they opened the door, there was about 4.5 feet of water that came flushing out. Did not damage
it. Looks
it.
like it's an insulated building.
Yes.
Is there any source of heat inside there?
No.
It just stays.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's there should be an opportunity for us if we need to bolster the insulation, but I think this has gotten us by in the past for the most part. I do remember there was a freeze. Yeah. 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 Yeah, I do remember that. So this is an example of a surge relief you can place on a fire hydrant. And so I just wanted to kind of show you that some of the tools that we have available to us out in the system where we can install a surge relief and folks can flow test other portions of the system. And if you have a pressure surge, we can put these reliefs out in the system on fire hydrants to minimize the impact to the system overall. And you can see our guys rebuilt those. There's a diaphragm inside, and it allows the device to open and close based on a tension or pressure setting. Some examples of just general maintenance from the distribution crew up on the pass, that can involve unidirectional flushing or just water quality system flushing. It can also include meter box maintenance, cleaning up around a meter box, cutting back some shrubs, marking snow poles, preparing for the winter, and resetting meter box lids. This one was an interesting one in Sheep Ranch. The lines that are conveying treated water from the storage tank go cross country behind. They're not on Armstrong Road or the main road. They're back in the back country a little bit. And so we weren't able to maintain level in the tank. So we knew we had a water leak somewhere or a main break. And our guys, then begin the recon. You start at the tank and you start following the alignment of the distribution system. And so lo and behold, they find the shear break. They find a break. And they also find a service line here. So this is another one of those, okay, well, that service line we presume is going to go to a meter and we're going to verify that. But in the meantime, we need to cut this thing out and make a repair. And you can kind of see some of the damage to the old AC line and the old service tap. It's quite corroded. And here's the new section of pipe that's going to go in.
And
then-
that much corrosion, that must mean the whole line's danger.
Well, right. So this is asbestos cement. So it's essentially concrete pipe that's, been strengthened. But yeah, Sheep Ranch, I mean, Michael and Kevin, all of us have many conversations about Sheep Ranch and the condition. It is in need of replacement. For sure. And so here's the finished product. These couplings,
Yeah, David,
incidentally,
with that-
yeah.
With that said, at one point, we tried to do a survey of bolts. Are they a DCA or have we had
I-
a grant?
I believe
I think
they
it
are.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't
I
have,
always thought.
we
they
don't
were,
have a
but-
project we've pursued funding for yet where we've had to verify that. And that was a while back.
Yeah.
Now, when that occurred. And I think there's different tools now. We may not need to go door to door again. But we'll get to that point. Hopefully have a problem establishing that tax status.
Finished product, just want to highlight these couplings have made our folks out in the fields lives very easy. There's just one basically, or there's two tightening bolts that we have to worry about now rather than in previous iterations. OMAC or repair clamp had many more. Kind of hard to see, but this is an example of our mechanics disassembling check valves, the Genuland intake, and cleaning up the plates, the checks over here, and then replacing them, the new check here, on the intake system at the Genuland water plant. Our construction crew they poured the foundation for the SAF unit at the reclamation facility at the Copper Cove wastewater treatment facility. And so you can see kind of the building, the forms, and then the building or installing the bar, which can be, it's quite a workout, especially when it's nice and cool outside. And then pouring the concrete. The guys did a great job. This is looking really nice. We have the unit. The concrete is now curing, and once that's cured, we can focus on setting the unit. So
Our
hats
guys
off
did
to
all
that
that.
team.
Our guys did all that.
Yeah. We have a really talented construction
It's
crew.
impressive.
Yeah. And so I just wanted to highlight this. So get a call in the middle of the night. Somebody backed into a hydrant on Henny. And so the way we let folks know that we are aware is we usually put a kind of a cone or some sort of indicator out there that lets them know, hey, we're aware of it. But this is kind of the breakaway flange. So this is what allows us to, rest assured that we're not shooting water 50 feet in the air. Water is still in the pipe, in the system, and the hydrant has been broken over, and we'll put a cone out, and then we come back and we reestablish the stem, the breakaway flange, put the hydrant back. The electricians handle all number of interesting work. And so in this case, this is a radio and a human machine interface having conflicts with how they correspond with each other at the Wilseyville lift station. Where our guys plug into that lift station and the comms, and they correct that. They can, work through Boolean algebra, if count algebra, like if not this, then this, if this, then that. And then it's essentially kind of like flows like a line diagram. And so they can plug into the machines and reestablish comms and function. And so, essentially, and then get back to just electrical work, bad coil, fuse replacement, what have you. And then backwash function. So this is associated with PLCs. Incidentally, one of the discussions we have is with all of our spare PLCs and equipment that control, processes at facilities. We talk about, we have a lot of those here at the office, and we also store those remotely. So we have redundancy should we lose some of those to a wildfire or some other sort of natural. And this is just an image to illustrate that the critical facility generator implementation project moves forward. Halfway done.
Where's this one?
This one is at lift station 19.
Here are those.
Uh,
Theft.
well, I mean, so part of this grant included security for this fence right here around the generator itself, but I would say most of them, we haven't had to worry about theft, but they didn't have stationary generators. And so some of these might become attractions.
This is a new one?
This is a new one. That's a brand new
Added to
generator.
our insurance schedule yet?
Not yet. It will be though. Yes, absolutely.
Idea.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. We've got. go ahead.
One quick question. What's happening up in Arnold above White Pines Lake with the $2 million tanks to replace the 3 million? How that's going along?
Kevin, you want to give an update?
Sawmill.
on Sawmill?
Yeah, so we're working on, the lot line adjustments take a lot longer than we thought, so we're in the final steps. The county approved our lot line adjustment. So we're just waiting for SBI's lenders to, because they, money's still on the property, so they have lenders, so they have to approve the lot line adjustment. And then the CAL FIRE has to, we have to amend the timber harvest plan. Once we own the property, have to sign a form and send it to CAL FIRE, and then we should be good to go. So we're hoping to get going in the next month, construction. Then we'll also be mobilizing to Wallace here in September. So the same contractors doing both locations. We'll be setting up the temporary tanks there in September and getting that tank kind of demoed at the same time we're kicking off the sawmill work.
We had hoped to be much further along at Sawmill, but bureaucratic delays
Yeah, we were originally
frustrating.
gonna get an easement from SBI and then they changed their mind late in the game.
Thank you.
Okay, any public comment on this? Online? Kelly, come on down.
Couldn't help myself. Damon mentioned those fittings and just want to remind you all, it's What Is It Wednesday. So if you want to learn about those fittings, recommend you go to our socials and find out more about those Hymax fittings. Thank you.
All right, Damon, thank you very much. We have
Thank
we
you.
have had magic water and bullying algebra already in our reports.